All right, good afternoon. Warm-ups are concluding here for the third declaration game for the Chesterfield Falcons at the 12U-B2 level. It's 1 p.m. Sunday, September 27th, 2025 at the B rink at St. Peter's Recplex. The Falcons will be facing off against St. Peter's Hockey Club 12U-B2 team. There are two B2 teams at their level. This one's coached by Chris Richardson. Both teams bring the one goalie to the game. That's Parker Armstrong in net for the Falcons. And on the opposite side, that's going to be Lincoln Unterreiner, goalie for the Hockey Club. And starting lineup will be Gorham taking center here against number 60. Actually, correction, that's going to be number 33, Benton, for the St. Peter's Hockey Club, Colton Benton. Lurk at left wing, Masterson at right wing, Beck, and number 84, Krenitsky on defense. That one's going to get sent to Krenitsky. Krenitsky off the boards to Lurk. St. Peter's sending it in before their own teammates can reset. That's going to be an offsides call. That stops the clock at 11:51. Only a couple seconds shaving off there. Same lineup as before. Benton facing off against Gorham. Gorham's going to poke it ahead. Gorham over to Masterson, but sent over by the Hockey Club. Now up to Masterson. Masterson and Lurk waiting to get it something off. It's Masterson still with possession. He'll dump it back to Beck. Beck over to Krenitsky. Krenitsky will look for a centering pass. He's going to fire that off the boards. That wraps around behind the net. Gorham picks it up. He'll fire it the opposite way over to Krenitsky. Krenitsky coming up to squeeze. He's going to dump in one of the Hockey Club players. Beck chases after. He'll get there first. He's going to swing around. Beck off the boards to Krenitsky. Now over to Gorham. Gorham's going to rush ahead. Gorham now looking for an opportunity. That's going to be a pass over to Masterson, who couldn't collect it, but a dangerous centering pass at that. Now in the hands of number 45, Brennan Walkenhorst, who came in on a line change. Denny's back on defense. Gorham's coming out for a line change as well. LeGrand coming in to take his spot. That's Maxwell Harrison in as well. Poked ahead by Gross, but that was number 81, Ricky Avila, who crossed the blue line before the puck. That's an offsides. That stops the clock at 10:43. We'll face off at center here. This time 81, Will Benton for the Falcons. Harrison at left wing, LeGrand at right wing, Walkenhorst and Denny back on defense. That's Leonard, who collected for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. He's going to send a little biscuit across into the neutral zone. Some pressure by Harrison. Denny coming up to contest. Armstrong is going to smother that as it slides down, and he'll stop the puck. We'll face off in the Falcons' defensive zone. So 10:27 on the clock. Richardson will face off against Benton. Denny coming out on the line change. That's Krenitsky now back on defense. And the puck is dropped. That's going to make its way to Ketz. Ketz with an opportunity up at the point, but deflected by the Falcons. Beck behind the net trying to get something going, but two St. Peter's Hockey Club players squeezing in. Loose puck now on its way to Benton. Benton trying to get around. Benton will skate around. He's going to look for a backhand shot. Forehand, actually. That's going to be off the right leg pad of Unterreiner. That's 52 for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. Odelier, who makes the pass over, but it's Maxwell Harrison trying to send it over into the shooting lane, poked away by the Hockey Club players. And Beck trying to keep it in ahead of the blue line. Unsuccessful. That's offsides. Face-off just across the blue line. Another line change. This is Newport in now at left wing. That was Reese Mickley taking the face-off. Xander Bryant over at over at right wing. Denny and Walkenhorst back on defense. This is Xander Bryant looking for a shot. He's going to get a backhand shot, and that's somehow not in. Nice positioning by Unterreiner. Good backhand shot by Xander Bryant, but Unterreiner in the right spot. And Falcons will have to reset. That was a pass to Newport. Just squeaked past his stick. And St. Peter's will send it from one red line to the other, untouched. That's icing. We will face off 200 feet in the opposite direction in St. Peter's Hockey Club defensive zone. So it's Gorham. Now we'll take center. Lurk at left wing. Krenitsky and Beck back on defense. We'll get a read on the right wing player here. That's going to be 92 Masterson at right wing. And it's St. Peter's on the rush. That's going to be a pass ahead. Armstrong's going to drop down and smother that puck. And that'll stop the clock. Now it's a face-off in the Falcons' defensive zone. Masterson, Lurk, Krenitsky. Looks like Beck on defense. Gorham taking the face-off against number 33 Benton for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. And this is Krenitsky, pass ahead to Masterson. Deflected over. Centering pass up to Masterson. That was Lurk to Masterson, dangerous centering pass, but they couldn't collect on that. Another centering pass broken up by St. Peter's. St. Peter's trying to clear. Krenitsky up at the point. St. Peter's now on the rush. It's 2-on-1. Avila, pressure by Beck, can't scoot it away. It's Armstrong, who tries to slide over, just past Armstrong's left leg pad. And that's a score by St. Peter's. That's number 81, Ricky Avila, as St. Peter's goes up on the board. That's Benton taking the face off. St. Peter's looking for an opportunity here. They come down, puck is down low. Collected behind the net by St. Peter's. 84, centering pass. Trip, not called. St. Peter's now recollecting. They're going to send that down to Armstrong. He'll smother that. And so a good defensive effort there by Beck, who tried to stop that opportunity. Now it's going to be Harrison. Harrison coming in. Harrison with some pressure behind. Harrison, backhand shot. Nice left leg pad save by Lincoln Unterreiner. That's going to go off the back of Unterreiner on a shot by LeGrand. And LeGrand squeezes one in. So LeGrand ties it up. And we'll face off. That's Xander Bryant collecting that. Mickley at center. Xander Bryant looking to enter the attacking zone. He'll squeeze it in, but poked out by St. Peter's. Kicked in again by Beck. St. Peter's trying to kick it out, but Beck keeps it in at the point. This is number 18, or correction, number 16, Teddy Leonard with possession. He'll wrap it around behind the net. Over to 21. Loose puck over to the opposite side of the boards. Ketch trying to keep it in, but Beck again squeezes forward. Beck looking for a shot. That's going to be a wrist shot. And just off the crossbar, it's Mickley into the shooting lane. Centering pass again over to Bryant. Bryant looking for something. That's going to be Newport who kicks it toward the net. Just deflected. It's Beck again over at the boards. He'll send it that way. Xander Bryant centering pass. Newport Xander Bryant with the assist at 6:34. Over to Newport with the one-timer. And that puts Chesterfield Falcons up 2-1. Their first lead of the game. So a couple quick responses off that 2-on-1 breakout that St. Peter's had. Nice heads-up one-timer by Newport. Falcons trying to keep it in at the point. That was Masterson who went down on a tough body hit. Now it's Denny who will send it forward. Masterson pursuing. Avila trying to kick it off the boards to himself. He'll get a pass, but deflected and broken up by the Falcons. It's Masterson. He'll send a shot down toward Unterreiner, who deflects it behind the net. Gorham facing some pressure, back behind the red line, sends it over toward Masterson. Masterson looking for a centering pass. He'll get that to Gorham. Gorham looking for a wrist shot. That's going to be a wrist shot off the left leg pad of Unterreiner. Now it's Walkenhorst with a long shot off the body of one of the hockey club players. That looked like it was 68, Elliott Wist, who took a shot off the body. Walkenhorst keeps it in at the point. Now it's St. Peter's looking to exit their own zone. That'll be a pass wide. LeGrand collects it off the boards. LeGrand centering shot off the stick of Harrison. Harrison putting pressure on the boards again, centering pass that makes its way to Unterreiner. LeGrand with another wrist shot at a tough angle, somehow squeezes one in. And that'll give the Falcons a little bit of an insurance goal. It's Benton who will face off against Richardson for St. Peter's. Harrison at left wing, LeGrand at right wing. Beck and Krenitsky back on defense. It's Harrison coming forward, looking for a centering pass. LeGrand collects it. He sends a wrist shot over, but just wide. Now it's St. Peter's. They'll get a pass over to number 52. Makes its way to Wedemeyer. Now to Richardson. Into the shooting lane. Picked up by the Falcons. That's 52 who deflects it again, keeping it in their zone momentarily. Now out to the neutral zone. It's going to slide the other way. 62 collects it. That's Johnson. Johnson trying to exit their own zone. He'll opt to keep it. Poked away by one of the Falcons players. That was Reese Mickley with some pressure. Now in the hands of Newport. Newport to Xander Bryant. Now it's Xander Bryant into the high slot. Low slot. Broken up by St. Peter's. Krenitsky heads it forward. St. Peter's with possession on the boards. They're going to try to clear it out. Picked up by Krenitsky at the point. They're going to slide that down toward Unterreiner. Unterreiner down in the butterfly. Makes a stop. The clock now at 3:48 in the first. So we'll have a line change for both teams. St. Peter's bringing out a couple new players. It's Gorham who will face off. Lurk and Masterson at left and right wing respectively. Denny and Walkenhorst on defense. That's a long wrist shot by Walkenhorst, who had a nice opportunity there. Denny will collect this by the blue line, sends it into the neutral zone, picked up by number 16 Leonard, but that's Gorham. Heads up pass over to Masterson. Nice defense by number 22, or maybe that was 21, Schellert. Denny with a long wrist shot. That's off the body of Ketz. Oh, it was in the armpit of Ketz. Number 27, Ketz, catches that with his armpit, and they lost it there for a second. The refs blew the whistle and stopped the clock at 3:12, so I have another face-off. Ketz taking one to the rib. That can't feel good, but he's going to stay in the game. He's pretty tough. It's Benton at center, Harrison at LeGrand at left and right wing respectively. Beck collects that one off the boards. He'll send a sliding wrist shot in. Krasniqi at defense on the other side. Cats putting some pressure on down low. St. Peter's trying to clear this one out. Too many players down low. That's going to be Harrison looking for a wraparound shot. And it's Unterreiner trying to smother it. He's going to get his glove on it. And Falcons unable to collect the rebound. Good job by Unterreiner stopping that play. We'll have another line change. Krasniqi and Beck will stay in at defense, but this time it's Newport at left wing and Bryan at right wing. Reese Mickley will take the face off. And St. Peter's had possession, picked away by Bryant. Now it's number 16, Leonard. He has it in the corner. Support by number 81. That's Ricky Avila, who had the lone goal for the St. Peter's team so far. And it's going to be St. Peter's. St. Peter's had a rush opportunity. They squeezed one toward the net, but deflected by the Falcons. Ricky Avila putting some pressure on. Gross now with possession. He's going to come down toward the net. Armstrong deflected off the blocker. Armstrong, good job adjusting over. Armstrong's going to have to get up. St. Peter's doing a good job keeping that in there. They're going to send that toward Armstrong, who's going to jump down and stop that play. And 2 minutes and 3 seconds remains in the first period. So a couple of good shots there on Armstrong. And a couple good opportunities for St. Peter's Hockey Club. It's Benton, number 33 for the St. Peter's Hockey Club, will face off against Gorham. And Denny will try to clear that away from the net. Both teams fighting for possession on the boards. Puck momentarily frozen, but picked up by St. Peter's. They're going to have to recollect in the neutral zone, but Wisk kicks it in before St. Peter's can reset. And so we'll have an offsides call. Only a handful of seconds shaven off. This time we'll face off at center. Same lineup as before. Gorham taking the face off, but Richardson opposite him at center. And it's Wedemeyer who will kick it in. They dump it in deep. Richardson in as the F1 on the forecheck. Denny trying to stop them from gaining possession. That's going to get flicked around on the boards to Wisk. Wisk with a deflection. Somehow made its way to the net. It's just wide, but what a nice deflection by St. Peter's. Armstrong trying to slide over. Now it's a 2-on-1. It's Gorham and Lurk. Gorham with a shot. Nice stop by Unterreiner, but it's Lurk who picks up the rebound at 1:16 remaining. That last goal, a nice shot on a 2-on-1 by Gorham, just off the body of Unterreiner, picked up by Lurk on the rebound and just through the legs as Lurk squeezed one in. That's Beck who's going to dump it in. He'll remain up at the point on defense. And the Falcons on the forecheck right now. Harrison looking to come away with it. He gets his stick in the mix. LeGrand looking for a shot in the slot. Just off. Poked away, good defense by St. Peter's. Beck will keep it in just by the blue line as it dances around. Benton trying to keep it in. He'll send it over to LeGrand. St. Peter's doing everything they can to clear it out, but it's sent around by... That was dangerous as Unterreiner came over to stop that one, and Maxwell Harrison was looking to collect a rebound. Now to Benton in the slot. Nice shot, actually just deflected. And that was Benton with a shot sent down and deflected. Looks like that was off the stick of Unterreiner. And 2 seconds remains here in the first period. expires in the first. So we'll have a little bit of a break. And both teams headed back to the bench to talk strategy and head into the second period. St. Peter's had a nice start there as they squeezed one off in the first. They were the first on the board as Ricky Vila had a 2-on-1 opportunity and got one over on Armstrong. And then the Falcons had 5 unanswered. This is a declaration game, by the way. It does not count toward the regular season. This just allows the Missouri Hockey Association to determine where teams will end up for the regular rust and build a little camaraderie on the ice. They all get used to each other's playing styles. This is Brian and Newport. That's Walkenhorst sending one down. And in traffic, that got lost as Walkenhorst shot one from way over on the right point. And that's early into the second, 11:40 on the clock. Walkenhorst sent that one sliding down on a wrist shot. It bounced around on the ice. I believe that was kind of screened, and it was a good shot. But Unterreiner, I think, lost it, and it just slipped into the right side of the net. Unterreiner with a nice save there on that last shot. This is number 21 chasing after for St. Peter's. And then he's going to come away with it. He'll swing it around on the boards. Now in the hands of Mickley. Mickley pass over to Newport. Newport and Bryan on the rush. Newport looking for a shot. But it's St. Peter's who will try to clear it out. Picked up by Walkenhorst, who gets a quick shot off. That's just wide. Good deflection by St. Peter's. St. Peter's trying to clear again. Now it's Denny who sends it back down. But we've got a penalty call. We'll see what that comes out as. And not sure if that was elbowing or what that was, but we'll have a power play. Power play begins as St. Peter's is shorthanded. It's Ricky Avila with possession behind the net. He's going to spin around, trying to clear it. Poked away by Gorham. Now in the hands of St. Peter's again. They'll try to clear it, but in the hands of Beck at the point. Beck tries to get a pass over to Masterson. Masterson flicks it over. Picked up by St. Peter's again. They'll try to clear it. It's Leonard with possession. Pressure by Gorham. He's going to swing down low into the shooting slot. Over to Lurk. No, it's Ricky Avila with possession again. Actually, that's Ketz. Ketz trying to send it out. Three Falcons players on it. That's just down low as Beck had it. And we've got a little bit of some fire between both of these players. And St. Peter's is going to have another player head to the sin bin. That's Ricky Avila, number 81. We'll reset the power play here as there's 44 seconds remaining on the first penalty. It looked like unsportsmanlike conduct as Gorham got shoved. Benton will take the face-off now. Gorham coming off the ice on a line change. It's over to LeGrand. It's Walkenhorst who will slap one down. Deflected by Unterreiner. Good play there. And this will be St. Peter's trying to clear it out. It's Denny who will get a one-timer. That's going to be deflected. But we've got a penalty called. 88, LeGrand will head to the sin bin. Not sure what that was for. We'll wait to see. So we'll face off in the Falcons' defensive end. And so I'm just going to clear the power play on the board and just call it. That's 30 seconds remaining on the first penalty for St. Peter's. 1:15 on the second one for them. And 1:30 on the clock for James LeGrand. Armstrong's coming out. That's going to be deflected off Harrison. Ketz chasing after. He'll get there ahead of the red line. Harrison chasing around. He's going to get to it. And looking for a centering pass. He's got some pressure. That's going to go off the skate. Deflected just behind the net. Harrison and Denny now, who has it. He'll send it down. Loose puck down low. That's going to go just over Unterreiner's head. And Benton, who gets a deflection off the stick, sends one in. And that's another goal by Benton. That one deflected up and floated into the net just over Unterreiner. That was a hard one to stop as Unterreiner was down in the butterfly. Can't blame Unterreiner on that one, as it was just kind of a wacky play. 51 seconds remaining on the penalty for LeGrand. He's in the sin bin still. 34 seconds remains on the penalty for St. Peter's. It's a 4-on-4. The ice is a little bit more open. St. Peter's will try to get something going here. And it's now Newport with a backhand attempt. Same for Reese Mickley. Too many St. Peter's sticks in the mix. They prevent anything from materializing. And Newport shoves a St. Peter's player down. He gets away with the penalty, I believe. Now it's St. Peter's trying to clear it out. They'll send it on the boards. That's going to be deflected by Beck. Beck will chase after. And it's number 84, Wedemeyer, pursuing. We've got another penalty call, I believe. As 5 seconds remains for LeGrand. So LeGrand still in the sin bin. 5 players on the ice for St. Peter's. And that's Newport headed in. Unsure on the penalty there. And so we'll face off now with a 5-on-3. Armstrong will surely see some pressure here as it's Xander Bryant taking the face-off. Denny at left wing and Walkenhorst back on defense. And Walkenhorst on right wing. So Denny and Walkenhorst who typically man the defensive positions. But it's Xander Bryant who had it. He's going to take a shorthanded position. That's a nice pass. Gorham over to Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst with a shot in the high slot. That wrist shot deflected off the body of the St. Peter's player. It'll get wrapped around to the opposite side now as both teams vying for position. Now in the hands of Walkenhorst, who gets another shot. That's going to go off of Unterreiner. Little update in the score there. It is 7-1. And Gorham trying to get a shot. That's going to go off the skate of one of the St. Peter's Hockey Club players. Gorham with a backhand shot. Nice save by Unterreiner. St. Peter's trying to clear this out. Falcons are shorthanded for another 33 seconds. This is a power play opportunity for St. Peter's. Walkenhorst again. He'll wrap it around. And that's Xander Bryant chasing after. Now over to Denny. Denny will try to get a shot. Now Scheller trying to get this on the other way. Gorham centering pass. No Falcon there to accept. But it winds its way over to the boards. Walkenhorst kicked it down to Bryant. Now it's St. Peter's trying to exit. And it's Gorham now. Gorham, wrist shot off the leg of St. Peter's. Now it's a 2-on-1. Lark has it. And on the line change, a couple Falcons players still on the blue line ahead of the puck as it crossed over. So that's an offsides call. 6:35 remains. It's full strength for both teams as the penalty has expired for the Falcons. They spent much of that power play in their own offensive zone, even though the Falcons were shorthanded. It's now Benton, LeGrand, Harrison, Beck, and Krenitsky on the ice. Krenitsky will send it over into the neutral zone, but picked up by number 85. That's Ottery. Ottery trying to clear it, but picked up by the Falcons. Now it's Harrison. Harrison trying to get a pass over to LeGrand. LeGrand's going to accept that. LeGrand shot, and off the body of Unterreiner. Unterreiner with a nice save there. LeGrand with a good opportunity. Nice pass by Maxwell Harrison. Exchange between both teams. St. Peter's to St. Peter's. That was taped. Too. They go to the ice. That was a miss. 1-on-0. Use a shot off. Now deflected to St. Peter's, trying to clear it out. It's Leonard with possession for St. Peter's. He'll swing around. He's going to look for a pass. Checking out his options. Into the high slot, it's Lurk, who had an opportunity to squeeze something out, but poked away by St. Peter's. Pass intercepted by Gorham. Deflected over to Beck, then to Lurk. Lurk with a long shot off the body of Leonard. Masterson now with a shot off the body of 81 Avila. Actually, that was Ottery. Ottery took a shot off the leg. He appears to be nursing that one for a second. I think he'll be fine. That did not feel good, though. Now it's Beck who will pursue. Gross chasing after. St. Peter's trying to get something on it. Now it's Gorham alone. Gorham. Shot in the low slot. Off the body of Unterreiner, who had a nice save on that wrist shot. 4:33 remains here in the second period. It's Odeler trying to get a shot off. That's going to go just wide. St. Peter's keeping the puck in their own attacking zone. It's 27 with a shot. That's going to go off Armstrong, who jumps down on it. So a nice shot opportunity. That was number 27, Lucas Ketz, I believe. Richardson, number 94, will take the face-off here. Across from Benton, it's Harrison, Walking Horse, LeGrand, and number 72, Denny, on the ice for the Falcons. And that pass by Walking Horse slides through traffic around all the Falcons players and past the red line. That'll be icing. Clock at 3:50 here in the second period. Same line as before. That's deflected over to Walking Horse. 52 for the St. Peter's Hockey Club, putting pressure on. That centering pass, shot, Armstrong save. That was dangerous, is down low. It was number 84. That was number 84, Wettimer. Deflected again. And then right after Wettimer squeezed off the shot, St. Peter's had another shot off Armstrong, who had two saves there down low. Armstrong coming over to play the puck. He's going to pass it over. He's going to leave it behind the net, actually. As that was picked up by Benton. Benton passing the neutral zone. Harrison trying to make his way there. It's going to be 2-on-1. Benton and LeGrand. Benton, backhand shot. He's going to slide it over. LeGrand was waiting, but couldn't collect on it. That's going to be loose, but it's St. Peter's on the rush. St. Peter's trying to squeeze a pass off. That's going to go to Odeler, but no, now in the hands of Benton. Benton swinging around, pressure by 27 Cats. Good defense by St. Peter's over on the boards. It's McKinley. Or McKinney, correction. McKinney trying to get a pass to Wessler. Wessler is number 3. St. Peter's trying to kick it over. That's McKinney who gets it to the boards. Scheller trying to kick it out. Now number 3, Weller. Get it clear. Falcons have to get on the other side of the blue. Bryant now. Pass. That's going to go behind the net. But Wessler gets there first. Now in the hands of St. Peter's. St. Peter's lost it in transition, but picked up again by another player. Now it's McKinney. McKinney with an opportunity. McKinney's going to keep McKinney first. Number 21, Scheller. And so that's an offsides call. 1:38 remaining. And we'll face off just on the other side of the blue line. That was Gorham, and then number 33, Benton, on the face-off exchange there for St. Peter's. And after a brief transition, we'll have an offsides call. This is Masterson, Walking Horse, Gorham, Lurt, and Denny all on the ice for the Falcons. Johnson boxed in there for the St. Peter's Hockey Club. St. Peter's will kick it back out. Just briefly glances off the stick of Denny. Denny collects it. It's going to be a shot opportunity. Armstrong with a save. Couldn't tell if that was off the net. That was kicked out by Gorham. That'll go the length of the ice. That's icing. But a good kick out by Gorham as there were a couple St. Peter's players down low. Armstrong facing pressure. Shot opportunity there with a tough angle, but a good shot either way. And either just off the net or off the body of Armstrong, who was down in the butterfly, kind of hanging on the post. 1:02 remains here in the second period. This is Benton, number 33 for St. Peter's. Benton, number 81, the Falcons. We've got a race. We've got Harrison looking for a shot, and that's going to be a shot as Harrison chases after. And shot on the left-hand side just past the right out of Unterreiner. That was a breakaway goal there with 50 seconds remaining. Pass over to LeGrand. LeGrand chasing after first for St. Peter's. They'll try to but LeGrand stick on it. 16 Leonard for St. Peter's. We'll have it stolen by Harrison. Harrison looking for a wraparound shot. Rebound. Sent down toward Unterreiner, but kicked away by Leonard. Now Kernitsky at the boards. Benton over to LeGrand, poked away by the St. Peter's Hockey Club. Kernitsky off the boards to Harrison. Harrison getting some pressure. Harrison bodied by Ketz. Ketz kicks it over the other way. St. Peter's trying to clear again. And that'll end that series. Both teams will head back to the bench. Close the game out. Armstrong and Unterreiner have played against each other in the past. So they've seen each other. Thank you, babe. That's fine. And St. Peter's now to open the third. They'll get a couple passes around. That's pass over to Wist. Wist off the boards. Over to Leonard. Actually, that was Scheller. Correction. But this is Bryant. He's going to swing in. It's Bryant one-on-one into the shooting lane. Shot. Nice. Save. Gut trap by Unterreiner. Bryant looking for another opportunity, but Unterreiner stealing that one away from him. And we have a running clock now. Wist with possession. Wist looking to carry it in. He goes down off the effort of Denny, but no penalty called. This one will go the length of the ice. It's McKinney chasing after, and she'll get to it ahead of the red line, so no icing. Clock down to 11:45. That was just off the stick of Radke. Hey, come say hi. This is St. Peter's carrying it out. That's Gross. Gross number 49. Down low, it's going to be down low. Armstrong trying to chase after it. Dangerous territory. That's cleared off the boards by number 92, Masterson. And that's a... We've got some guest appearances here. A couple kids coming to say hi. So that was an icing call. Clock is at 10:30 now. It's Benton, LeGrand, Kranitsky, Harrison, and Beck all on the ice. That's going to go off the skate of Beck over to LeGrand. LeGrand kicks it to Harrison. It's one-on-one. Harrison's going to come forward. Harrison now with an open shot off the head of Unterreiner. Unterreiner, who came out of the crease and was in the right spot, made another save. Good effort by Harrison, but he was unable to squeeze one past. Now they're looking for a wraparound shot, but Unterreiner's got his leg pads down. That was a left leg pad shot by Unterreiner. Loose puck down low, cleared and whistled down by the referee, but Unterreiner was all over it. And we're going to face off across the blue line. Not sure the rule on that. Commentator will have to figure it out. Reese Mickley facing off against Richardson, number 94 for St. Peter's. Newport at left wing, Xander Bryan at right wing. It's Walkenhorst and Denny back on defense. Now Newport chasing down over to Mickley. Mickley off the boards to himself. Mickley looking for a pass over to Bryant, but just deflected by number 27, Ketz. Good defensive effort there by St. Peter's. Cat's trying to clear it out. They'll get it over, and Falcons couldn't reset. Got kicked across the blue line. That's offsides. 8:50 remaining here in the third period. And Walking Horse kicking it down at the point. That'll go off the boards. It's Denny waiting. Mickley putting some pressure on, but two white jerseys fly in. And puck is frozen over on the boards. Both teams vying for it. It's number 2 who comes away with it for St. Peter's. And number 2 just bodied by Bryant. No penalty called. That was Radke who had it initially. Now it's St. Peter's looking to get something going. It's Denny who's going to put some pressure on. It's Wedemeyer. Wedemeyer has it still. Wedemeyer goes down. No penalty called. Denny with possession. Falcons trying to clear it out. It's going to be in the hands of Xander Bryant. Xander's going to look for a shot. He's going to swing around. Good stick by Cade Leonard. Or Teddy Leonard, correction. Cats will whip that one around the boards. Benitsky trying to collect it, but pressure by 84 for St. Peter's. 7:11 on the clock now in the third. And we'll have a tripping call as Masterson went down. Looked like he was tangled up with him and caused him to fall. So Masterson will head to the sin bin, and St. Peter's will have a minute and a half with a player advantage. We've got a minute and a half power play. St. Peter's kicks it down. Schellert's going to chase after. It's going to go to, that's Lurk. Lurk who kicked it out. McKinney will pick it up in the neutral zone. She'll send it in. St. Peter's able to reset, but it's the Falcons who clear it out again. They'll call that clear. This is St. Peter's now on the forecheck. It's Schellert chasing after. They're going to try to get their stick on it. Twist at the point. Falcons able to clear that out. It's McKinney who'll get there first. And Gorham chasing after behind the net. Short-handed, putting some pressure on. Now in the hands of Beck. Beck bodied by Radke. Gorham pass to Harrison. Harrison over to Beck, but Beck just missed it. Now back to St. Peter's. They wrap around behind the net. They're going to look for a pass over. And St. Peter's trying to clear this one out, but Falcons short-handed now. It's still 18 seconds short-handed. They're going to look for a backhand shot. That was Harrison who will look for now a wraparound or a centering pass. That's going to go up and in. Pass by Harrison to Benton. With around 5 minutes remaining. And that's full strength for both teams. That'll be icing. And we'll carry the puck down to the other end of the ice. Benton to LeGrand to Walking Horse for the shot. And a gut trap by Unterreiner. Good save there. 4:30 remaining. So we'll still face off in the Falcons' offensive zone. Benton taking the face off again. Harrison at left wing, LeGrand at right. Denny and Walking Horse back on defense. LeGrand trying to get a stick on it. Face some pressure from 62. It's Avila now for St. Peter's. Avila looking for a pass up. He's going to have to wait. And St. Peter's looking for a shot over. Avila will have to keep it. Now it's Harrison chasing after. And Harrison trying to get across the blue line. Unable to do so. That's offsides. Time continues to wind down around 3:45. We'll have a line change. This is Reese Mickley now facing off against Richardson. Richardson for St. Peter's. Mickley pokes it over to Newport, but deflected by St. Peter's. Now it's 52. Getting some pressure by Beck. Beck off the boards. 52 comes away with it as that got lost momentarily. Armstrong will smother that one up. And St. Peter's was looking for the rebound, but kept away. Richardson facing Reese Mickley, Benton, Pernitsky, Newport, and back on the ice. That's a pass from Newport over toward Bryant's way. Bryant will keep it. He's going to try to get a backhand shot. That's centered up toward Unterreiner. Unterreiner stops that just off his pad. 2:30 remains in the third period. It's Newport who will chase it down in the corner, but St. Peter's there first. They'll look to clear it. Sticked by Bryant. Now over by Ketz. Ketz for St. Peter's. He'll chase it. Actually, he's going to opt to stay on the boards. Back off the boards into their attacking zone. Now St. Peter's looking to send it out. That was Richardson, I believe. That was Xander Bryant who knocked Ketz down. No penalty call. Got a hit. Newport looking for a shot. That's going to be saved by Unterreiner. 1:50 remains in the third period. Gorham taking that face off. St. Peter's comes away with it. Well, wrap it around, picked up by Walking Horse at the point. Long shot, just wide. St. Peter's looking to send this one out. Kept in by Denny at the point. Walking Horse by the blue line again with a long wrist shot. That's off the body of Wist. Another shot by Gorham. Gorham, who picks up the rebound off the shot by Walkenhorst. Walkenhorst looking for a pass opportunity. That's going to go to Lurk. Lurk looking for something to materialize. And that's going to go in. Radke chasing after, but that's icing. 26 seconds remains here as we'll go to the other end. Time will wind down, maybe one last play, but not much of an opportunity there. Ryan looking for something. Beck maybe 2, 3, 4. And this is going to be an opportunity. But most importantly, both teams will congratulate each other on a hard-fought effort. And we'll have some good sportsmanship as they both shake each other's hands. Unterreiner and Armstrong. They're just saying hi. And so both teams just saying congratulations. And that's the end of the third declaration game here for the Falcons. A match between them and the St. Peter's Hockey Club 12U-B2 team, one coached by Richardson. It's 1 p.m. Sunday, September 27th, 2025, here at the Recplex rink on the B side. And we will see you all next time. Thanks.